Hello everyone, and welcome back to another nostalgic gaming review. And let me just say it's been a little while. There was the holidays. I had a couple writing contests. I've been job searching. Just been kind of doing a lot of different things while also simultaneously doing nothing. It's just taken a lot of time to upload, just mainly to just get back in the routine. And I was really bummed that I missed out on the chapter 1000. Being able to record a video. So anyways, without further ado, I actually made sure to write down the gems for Pokemon Platinum, because that's what we're going to be doing today. It's going to be a pretty fun review, but also a pretty lengthy one. So, or a little bit lengthy anyways. So the funny thing is, I got this game from GameStop in like February, specifically February 14th. Because why not? I had a funky sort of kind of meetup with this person on an app, and it didn't go over too great, I'll admit. So I kind of just said, I'll cut my losses. I'll just get a game to distract myself from that oddity that I kind of failed at, and as well as the stress of work. And lo and behold, the first problem kind of occurred. Now, this is admittedly a really weird thing, but it sometimes will pop up and it will not show the game. And it's kind of bizarre, right? Because I always thought, oh, the game should just pop up. But lo and behold, sometimes it doesn't pop up. So that was weird. That was one of the weirdest things. You have to blow on it, right? You gotta blow on it in order for it to work. And I don't know why it does it. I don't know. I don't know if it's a DS thing. So if anyone could actually explain that, I would highly would appreciate that if somebody could. But then it gets to like this, this point where I lose the first battle, like right off the bat, with that Dibba guy, that the Pokemon Cinema guy made fun of. I could not beat it. I could not beat him the first time. I had a little Chimchar, and it's funny because, like, when I was 10 years old, I started with Turtwig. That didn't work out well at all. I didn't even finish my original Diamond, wherever that is. It's in Pokemon Hell at this point, just floating around there. But I started with, I never used Empoleon, but I did decide to use Chimchar, and it was the biggest mistake of my life when it came to these games anyways. It was a very poor choice. I thought that he would be useful. I even named him Luffy, for God's sakes. But he was a pile of crap. He really was not useful. But anyways, so the first gym, is Rock Gym. I did pretty decent with Monferno, but I had to train him all the way up to level 16 or 17 because I couldn't possibly beat him. And it's funny, I remember when I was a kid, playing this, or at least Diamond when I was 10 years old, it was a lot like more rock mindish, but apparently that vaporized from my mind, just like the movie Atlantis. By the way, I saw that movie, and that's not even close to what I remember when I was a kid. So it's fitting that this wasn't either. Right, and let me just say, I spent 70 hours and 17 minutes on this game. I started it on like February the 14th, right? And I didn't actually put it down until October 3rd. It was an extremely long period of time. And the only reason I put it down was because of how I finished Attack on Titan Season 3, and, well, I had to finish it, right? But anyways, I digress again. But seriously, it is one of the craziest, longest journeys I've had with a Pokemon game to date. Because usually it's around 25 hours, maybe 30 hours, with like a white. But it was not like this. In the second gym, just going down, I was a little bit confused on where I was supposed to be going. Of course, there was the whole Drifloon thing. and like I was like having to battle like this platinum person, and their ideas of platinum, their ideals of platinum as a team, kind of don't make any sense. Like it's very convoluted and just ugh. Like I don't even understand what their goal is. I guess it's to like reset the universe. I don't know. It's as convoluted and insanely vague as kind of the previous generation. So, I'm sure that there was a reason, but after playing it for 70 hours, I couldn't even tell you. That's like I said, second gym. Yeah, I didn't have any trouble. I pretty much swept that team with Monferno at that point. Oh, and by the way, that city that you walk in is one of the coolest. Is one of the coolest cities I think I've ever heard. That Western theme, the dong 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 dong, and that's one of the things that I really want to make a point about in this game is that it's got one of the cool. I think it has the best soundtrack because Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald have very nostalgic but very rare soundtracks that are really great, like maybe Outer Wall at Mount Pyram, or I can't even say that name right now. I'm so tired. But that's probably about the coolest soundtrack I can think of off the top of my head. Maybe like the Elite Four, like the Champion music, but kind of the gym. But those are like really the battles. But like the mundane like cities, like the dong dong dong, and it's kind of like got this Western theme, and it's kind of a nice theme, right? And so sometimes I would actually put the work headphones in, and yes, I had headphones. And I would just kind of listen to it, and it was kind of nice. It was like dun 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 dun. It's like you get into this kind of rhythm, and it's like oh wait, what am I doing? Like I only have 17 minutes left on my lunch break. Why am I wasting time listening to this? And then we had the third gym, and admittedly, I did have some useful Pokemon because at this point I had maybe I don't think I had a Star Raptor yet, but I had the second evolution, the Starly, and then I also had a Monferno, which was useless, and I had to train, him all the way up so I could get Crunch. Crunch was the crucial move, and there was a lot of training in this game. Like I was dead tired of training until I got to the daycare, and we'll get to that point. But I was just going insane because I could not beat this lady. This Fantina, I tried against her like I don't even know how many times. At least 3 times, which for me, I've never lost a gym battle. At least I only lost 1 gym battle, and that was White, the first gym battle, because it caught me off guard, or the second gym battle. And it was really the Duskull and the Hunter, they were okay. I didn't do that great against them, but because I only had Crunch, that was a super effective move, and because I didn't have the team to actually set up moves, I didn't really have, when it comes to ghost types, there's not really that many moves to set up in advance. At least I'm not that savvy with it, so I was just trying to use super effective moves, and that last level 26, I was getting murked until when I finally did. I was like, yes, I am never going back to the city. Also, the creepiest thing I've ever experienced in a Pokemon game that wasn't a creepypasta occurred when I walked into that church. Right, I legit thought that I was gonna get a Pokemon theme, right? And I'm walking into that church going, I was like, what the fuck? There's no theme. That was the weirdest. That's a. If I was a kid, I may have been a lot more scared because it comes out of nowhere, right? And it's just like, what? Why is this not the case, right? Why is this building the only building in a Pokemon game with no theme song? And the people are talking like, oh yeah, my Pokemon passed away or something. I'm like, whoa, and like, time out. It was pretty bizarre. But I did get an Eevee, and I did make the mistake of trying to get a certain type of Eevee that we'll get to later, and wow, that was probably the most frustrating part of the game, and also the most rewarding part of the game. I also should have taken the Togepi egg and the eventually Lucario egg. I don't know why I didn't take those. I thought that you could get them in Diamond because I thought I was going to play both Diamond and that until I saw the prices for Diamond. That's crazy. No way am I going to play that game now. But then, yeah, the fighting gym, I didn't have too much of a trouble with. Lucario gave me a little bit of trouble, but nothing too special. The water gym, the 5th gym, and by the way, it's really cool how you put your face in that, like that cardboard cutout thing in that, I can't remember that Pokemon that actually runs up. It's kind of a cool little cutscene. A very short one anyways. But the water gym is frustrating. Like, I could not, man. I didn't know where I was going. It was super confusing. There was, like, different pathways. I didn't know what I was doing. I was very confused trying to navigate around in that water gym. Because you have to, like, for some reason you have to lower the water levels. But for some reason I kept not getting to the final platform with enough water to actually, like, get up on top. I don't know why. It was just very time consuming because you got to go all the way back and then you got to go all the way back to the front. You got to turn the switch and you know what I mean? It's, and the thing is, I felt bad for this Crasher Wake guy because I just sweeped his team completely except for Quagsire. I almost got killed by him, but Luxray completely. By that point, I had a Luxray. But, the Plasma Grunts, I think their ideals are getting a little bit better at the, their ideas are getting a little bit more clear. Still, it's like, a little bit shaky, but, it's kind of cool just battling them every once in a while. And then, of course, you got your rival Barry, Dibba and he's not the worst rival. I mean, at least he's there, at least he's present, unlike, in Gen 3, after, I think it's the 7th badge, they don't do anything, or 6th badge. I think it's 6th badge, right? Yeah, it's a major disappointment in that game, to be honest, after replaying it the last couple months. But anyways, there's a lot of different things that happen, right? And the craziest point in the game, I definitely we'll almost get there. Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. We did go to the Cantilever City, the Cantilever, the gym. Anyways, it's pretty cool. Like I'm kind of vibing. It's kind of like this city that's built, with this bridge thing, and I just kind of put on Mythbusters and kind of busted through that gym. I don't even remember doing that gym. Because again, I had the type advantage. See, with I had a Float Soul that actually was doing. He was probably one of my better Pokemon. I had a Float Soul, Luxray, Eevee. I won't reveal that typing yet, but I'm sure you can guess it by now. And Fernape and Staraptor, and I think I had it. I cannot remember the other one because I just did it last minute. Anyways, those were the main ones that were helpful to me. Again, I'm glad the HM slaves weren't too much of a problem, but then the hugest and most confusing part of the game I think I've ever experienced was, first off, the Psyduck thing. I mean, what? Psyduck are in the middle of the road and I can't get around them? Like, I've never experienced something so bizarre in a game. It doesn't make a lot of sense when you think about it. But then Cynthia just kind of goes, "Oh, here's this drug. Get out of here." Like, hit the road. And for some reason, they just vanish. And I was like, okay. And I already went, the daycare is nearby, which is I'm very thankful for, because then you can just ride your back and forth, and you can raise your levels of your team. I don't know why I wasn't doing that in Pokemon White. That would have saved me so much time, so much pain, so much suffering. But again, I didn't. But anyways, I got all the way up there, and then I got into this weird Cynthia's, her hometown. It's cool to hear about Cynthia and like these mythical Pokemon, but then I get there and I'm like, I felt like that meme with John Travolta. I was like, what how do I get over there? Like, I was so confused, And I only saw that one wild area, so I thought, well, I'm not supposed to go over there, right? I had to watch a walkthrough. Like, this game is kind of weird. It just kind of leaves you. It just kind of holds your hand for a bit and then says, I'm going to go get it. I'm going to go get some milk from the store. And it's like, wait, but we were doing fine. Like, I don't know. It's weird. And then you have to use defog, which is not a good feature. It's not a good feature at all, as well as the next feature. And the next part of the ice cave is a little bit complicated, but you do admittedly get Ice Beam, and I think Blizzard, or you get some other move like Hail, or you get some pretty cool moves. It's pretty fantastic. I think you get a couple of full restores. Really great items right in the cave. Cave has a great atmosphere. I like the way that it's kind of like has like this light and dark. It's kind of like it's not a super dark cave like Diglett Cave, but it's bright enough. And then the difficult part, getting to Snow Point City. People have said to me that this is a baby game, and this is like, oh, no. It's not Jak 2, not at all, but it isn't easy. It isn't easy at all. Getting to Snow Point City is kind of a bitch. Seriously, it is annoying, because not only do you have the slowest feature, like moonwalking your way to this snow city, and the soundtrack is okay in that route, but then all of a sudden, like, oh, an ace trainer, and at first you're like, this he's just wearing a winter coat. He can't be an ace trainer. Nah, he's an ace trainer, and he's got every type. He's got, like, a flying type, a dark type, a psychic type. You're like, no, and then you get sent all the way back. It's, if you get wiped out, it stinks. Because you get sent all the way back, past the Psyducks, past the defog, and it's just like, why? I can't even explain how annoying it is. It only happened to me once, but before you get to that log cabin, which is the second creepiest moment of this game, which is weird that there are two in a Pokemon game. But you get into the cabin, and this person gives you a spell tag, and you're like, cool, spell tag, and then you turn around and you're like, you're a ghost. And it's like, wow, that was weird. Admittedly, I was not thinking that was going to happen. But anyways, I finally made it to that stupid ice rock, and boy, was it so satisfying to get Glaceon. It's probably it's my favorite Pokemon by far. But going in, I love the design, the little ice boots. It's like a combination of a classic Russian woman coat outfit with the bangs kind of thing, in combination with like a fox, which sounds like furry territory, but I assure you, it just looks pretty cool. That's all there is to it. And not only that, Glaceon is a pretty good welcome member to the team, because the next gym, Hail, doesn't affect it. And then I absolutely demolished Cyrus and accidentally killed Giratina twice while I saved, because I really wanted Giratina, because I always thought it was a really cool Pokemon and really cool theme and idea, and we'll get to that in a minute. But then, and that's finally where we get to that point, right? And then I hear this theme song, and seriously, Route 216 and Snow Point City are two of my favorite Pokemon soundtracks. It is amazing. I love it so much. It's very slow and methodical, and it's kind of disappointing you cannot beat that person that, Barry can't beat that person at the lake. I kind of started feeling for the guy. At first he was Dirt, but then I was like, damn, this guy, he's like just positive, and he's trying to like win battles just like me. It's like, damn, and so anyways, you go back and you do the whole Cyrus thing, which I was not ready for Cyrus. I did not have enough items, and you can save, but you can only heal them up a certain way. Otherwise, yet again, you got to go all the way to the back, and like, it's no. And the worst thing possibly could have happened to me, which was that I was playing at work, of course, right, on my lunch break, and then out of nowhere, that Cyrus cutscene, and I pressed A, and I was like, no, wait, hold on, like, and it went on forever. He monologues. He's Yuhaba just babbling like a brook. I'm like, yo, just shut up. Like, it doesn't matter what you're saying. Like, oh, I was a good 10 minutes late coming back from lunch, which meant because I was already 10 minutes late to work, I was like 20 minutes I had to spend overtime, which wasn't, I guess, technically overtime, but very annoying and nonetheless. And it just makes you really think about just pressing A. Sometimes you gotta think about it before you press A. Anyways, I finally beat Cyrus. I actually struggled with that weird puzzle, but the distortion world is definitely the coolest place in Pokemon. Like, I think most people can agree. It's at least one of, but to me it's like definitely the coolest. You're walking down a waterfall that leads into this, like, it's undescribable how cool it is to people that have not played that game, or at least haven't played it in a while. But that puzzle it's a little bit confusing. Thankfully the lake spirits of Mesprit, Azelf, and I can't remember the other name. Anyways, that third name is just. But yeah, the Cyrus battle was kind of disappointing because Glaceon was just such a friggin' champ. I named she was a she, and I named her Rukia because of Bankai, and she was just seriously. I think I had Shadow Ball, like maybe Hail, Ice Beam, Earthquake. I don't know. I had some like cool. I cannot. I'm pretty sure I had Ice Beam, Blizzard, and Shadow Ball, and something like that. And I was doing really good with Glaceon. And Infernape, he got wiped out. Not so much, But anyways, finally do I get to like that ending part, and I'm just sitting back and I'm like, wait, there's another gym? Like, oh no. And then there's the rest of, like, oh man, it felt like such an accomplishment to get that far, right? Like it probably was like 40 hours right there. And then the Sunny Shore Gym, I liked the puzzle. It wasn't too crazy, wasn't too insane. I like how the concept that you have to beat him. One of the Elite Four guys, it's like a pump up like cheerleader Flint, Ronald McDonald guy. He's like, yo, you gotta get like this, you gotta get Volkner to like actually like straight up like battle again because he doesn't want to, and you have to like actually battle him and beat him in order to get his like spirits up to the point where he wants to fight you again, which is pretty cool. I like that concept. And also I like the concept of Giratina. There's an entire video on YouTube about how like you kind of save Giratina from like this endless loneliness by capturing it. And it's a very cool premise too, like back to back very cool premises that I liked. And it's kind of like Giratina's your buddy now. You like save this guy. Like you actually do things. You have consequences to your action in a kind of a good way that makes sense, which I love. And you even get to fight Volkner in Flint again, which is really cool too. And then there's the Elite Four, and it took me ages to prepare for this. Like, it seriously took me a very, very, very long time. Admittedly, longer than I want to admit. It probably took me months to train to get to the highest level because I just knew Cynthia was going to wipe me out. From what everyone was saying online, I knew she was going to be a difficult one. And boy, I wasn't even ready. The first Elite Four battle I had wasn't that crazy. The bug guy, I mean, Drapion gave me some big time problems. Definitely, I nearly got out of that situation. Whew, right? And then the second battle, with, of course, anything that's a water and earth type, it's going to be a really hard type because you cannot get rid of that thing, right? So I usually just go for like the ground weakness but then again, the ground weakness is kind of only does half, so it's a horribly deadly combination. I'm glad that a whole champion doesn't use that typing like with a Whiscash and the Wooper line, Quagsire, but Gligar actually gave me a lot of trouble. But then the other ones didn't really give me, Rhyhorn, the Rhyhorn evolution. It didn't give me too much for trouble, actually. I thought, oh my god, this is the final one. And then I actually got like a one shot off, and I was like, what? And of course, I'm like the only dork at work, or at least the person that, I'm like the cool guy that actually plays the games, but, I'm not cool. But I think, so I turn around and everybody's like, what, like, bro, what's your problem, bro? Like, the paint guy's going off again, I guess. And then again, Flint, he was, I'm glad that he used fire type. That was cool, but I wasn't expecting him to have a Houndoom. Like, oh, I was getting, I almost lost. Actually, I did lose, but I saved because I was like, I'm not going all the way back again. Like, we're not doing that. And then we had the Psychic Gym. And between Floatzel and Luxray having Crunch, I didn't have too much trouble. But then I forgot to save. No, and then I played Cynthia and got killed, and then I had to do the whole thing from Flint on. I had to beat Flint again, and it was really freaking frustrating. But I will say the soundtrack, I forgot to mention this before, but when I finally trained all the way up and I got to the top of the Pokemon League at night, whew, I nearly cried. And not because it's like, oh, it's like, you finally accomplished something, or like, wow, what a baby, you get emotional over that. But no, the soundtrack that plays, like, seriously, it is beautiful. It's my favorite Pokemon soundtrack, and it's especially because it's like, wow. Like, usually it's always like, dun 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 dun, like, I go, oh my god, like, this is it, I'm gonna get, like, and it's very stressful, right, but it kind of pumps you up at the same time. This was just more like, wow, like, your journey's over. Like, it felt like an elevator ride up to, like, oh, wow, I'm here, I'm chilling. Like, it was one of the coolest experience, best soundtrack ever. And it almost got me. But if I wasn't at work, I would have definitely teared up. It was that emotional of a moment. And then I did the Cynthia thing. It took me, I believe 2 or 3 tries. I don't quite remember. But Spiritomb, having a Pokemon with no weakness is kind of ridiculous. I was just like, I think I just threw a bunch of earthquakes at it, because I was like, I don't know, like, nothing was taking this thing down, right? It has no weaknesses, and it's a level 58, and I'm like, damn, like, what is going on right now? And I barely got out of that. Roserade I thought was going to be easy, but I forgot I had poison type, so of course, Infernape died again, and I had to revive him. I revived Infernape, I counted, like 35 times. It's probably the worst starter I've had since Venusaur, and I didn't even use Venusaur that well back then, 10 years ago. But man, Venusaur was another one that totally sucked balls. Like, it wasn't worth it at all. But yeah, Roserade, I had a very difficult time with. At least till I healed Infernape, and then I got the Blast Burn or Fire Blast off, and then Togekiss was surprisingly actually didn't give me too much trouble. Lucario, of course, but now we're talking level 60s. Wasn't too bad. Then it's like Milotic, and it's like, oh, flashbacks to Wallace's Milotic and Emerald, and I could not beat that thing. Like, that still gives me the biggest hard time, especially when you're facing it the second time when it's a higher level. But the Garchomp was really the nose biter. Because I went to the daycare, here's the big thing. Because I went to the daycare, I was dumb, and I put Glaceon too long in the daycare. So instead of having Ice Beam, gone, I had to teach Glaceon Blizzard. And I cannot tell you how frustrating that was. it was like, no, I was so pissed. I did not even realize that until I got to the Elite Four. And you can't get Ice Beam anywhere else in the game except for one other spot. One other spot. You can pay for it, but it's super expensive. Like, I don't even have the Poké Dollars to this point to get Ice Beam again. I want to, though. But, like, I had to use Hail, which Hail was taught in instead of Ice Beam, which is really stupid. I'm glad Shadow Ball was still there because that was the only thing that I had to beating the fourth gym leader, or the Elite Four, and then I somehow, after the second time, I was on 50 HP. Now, this Glaceon has gone down to 1 HP 3 different occasions. This is like the minimum, the minin of Gen 4 for me. Like, this is like the champ. Like, I don't know why this Glaceon was such a champ, but she somehow got off a Blizzard, and I got the heck out of there. Like, that was the craziest, one of the craziest moments. It wasn't the craziest Elite Four moment I've ever had, but it was definitely, and like, if you have to battle this person, this Cynthia person, you know, again, your Garchomp is level 78. Like, I don't even want to count how many hours and months and years that'll be in daycare. And God knows, I would have to time it perfectly, because at level 71, Glaceon learns Blizzard again, which, how annoying is that? I already know Blizzard, so... Whew. Anyways, that was a lot longer than I anticipated that video being. But when you finally beat it, and you hear that champion music, and then you get to do the restoration, you get to hang out in the resort area. It's very cool. You get your own house, which is like, wow, what a step up from a Pokemon game. But then you get to the migration, which is the last point I'll make, which is kind of crazy. At this point, I'm completely in love with this game. Like, I really do think this is my favorite Pokemon game. But then we get the migration thing. In order to migrate your Pokemon from Gen 3, you have to capture all of the Sinnoh Pokemon, or at least have them in your Pokedex, which doesn't sound too crazy, because most of them are in your Pokedex. At least you didn't have to capture them all. I thank them very much for doing that. But the big issue is that you have to get Rotom. Rotom isn't nearly as bad, but in order to get Rotom, that was like the last Pokemon in the Pokedex. Rotom, and there was another one. And once you get those two, then you have to do the 3 Guardians of the Lake, which is like, it's ridiculous. I'm pretty sure Mesprit was the one that was pretty easy. Azelf was insane, and then the third one that I can't remember right now was the one that I took almost a whole work week for me on lunch breaks trying to capture that thing. And I even did it before I went to work. It was super hard to try to capture that thing. I don't even remember. I don't like it. Whatever it was, I don't remember that third one, probably just for that reason. I could not. They got harder. The first one took like a million Ultra Balls. It took like 45 Ultra Balls. The second one took like about 100. And the third one took like 150, and like you had to time it, and you had to put it to sleep, and I didn't have any of those moves, so I had to use like... and then I finally do all that, right? I finally get all the way through that, and I find out that the only games that I have that I can actually use out of all these, you see this Sapphire, right? You might be thinking, oh, you can transfer those, right? There's nothing wrong with it. Well, I mean, if you look at it really fine, it's like somehow a Japanese copy. And, I mean, you can feel, you can hear, there's no battery. This does have a battery. This is an original leaf green version, right? I somehow got duped into buying these. They work, except that they don't show you the Elite Four, which should have been my first sign. Because they're a foreign copy, and this Platinum was an English one, I cannot send these over. Now, I don't understand, because Sapphire was in English, so I don't know what's going on, but I can only transfer them from Leaf Green, which really stinks. I went through all of that trouble of going through and playing all of the levels, capturing all of the Sinnoh Pokemon just to have it give me that sign and say, it doesn't work. For Ruby, I had a Sapphire, Ruby, Emerald, and a Fire Red. The Fire Red one really stinks because that is by far my best Pokemon team ever, and I wanted to bring them over, but no. And it's just, I don't think it was worth it, the migration. I would think that if it did work, it maybe was, but the migration was kind of like, oh, okay. And then I like kind of migrated some of my Pokemon, including a couple of Deoxyses, because the Leaf Green was back when I had a Game Shark, and I was like, cool, now what? Like, it just feels like, now what, right? And I mean, I guess challenging the Elite Four the second time is definitely like something cool. And exploring like the Rotom, like the haunted house, which is the third creepy thing, but it is also surrounded by the coolest kind of laid back, like jazzy place, being the Eternal Forest. So that kind of made up for it, for the creepy factor, anyways. But there's so much areas to explore. There's so much water, there's not too much water. There's islands. There's puzzles. I mean, this is it. This is it. I mean, I haven't played Soul Silver. I haven't played Pokemon Black 2, and I may not. You know, the price of these games have gone skyrocketed to the point where they're like almost $100 each. You know, unless you want to get ripped off and get like a version, a weird like knockoff version. Which, I mean, again, you just saw. You know, that's why you don't do knockoffs, is because of that migration. You go through all that trouble, and I mean, whew. Anyways, I digress. This is definitely the longest video. I don't even know if this will upload. So again, if you have made it this far, if you've made it in 10 minutes into this and just skip to the end, like, damn, I appreciate it, because I actually had a lot of fun doing this video, and I don't know if I'd have fun doing this video like the 4th or 5th time recording it. So I hope everyone's having a great day. Like the video, subscribe, comment, like, just interact. Like, I want to know there's people out there watching these videos, because I do put some effort into these. It is pretty late right now doing it. The amount of time when I watch these videos upload for 2 hours, I don't even know if they'll upload. So it's kind of a weird time for me right now. And anyways, I hope that I have more videos coming out. And I guess I'll see you guys whenever I can. Bye.